All right, hey there, guys. It's Kim George here from YourChicGeek.com, and I want to welcome you to a brand spanking new video. Please excuse my voice before we dive off into this, but I have been on the sick and shut-in list, and I have not been feeling well, but I'm on the mend, so thank God for that. But I want to welcome you to this video, guys. We're going to be talking about these new changes that KDP has smacked us with that is going to definitely impact some coin. So I'm going to talk about the changes really briefly. I know there's a ton of videos already out there about this, and I'm going to just basically get into the 5 action steps and things that I'm going to be doing to pivot and to hopefully do a reset basically of my profit and what I'm planning to do just going forward. Okay, so I'd love for you guys to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. And also, if you're interested, I have a free swipe file and list of over 200 plus types of books that you can publish to build a book brand around for KDP. The list is going to be below, so you can check that out. I also have a free workshop. There's a link to as well, and as well as some other resources to help you in your self-publishing journey. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. So listen, if you're a low-content book publisher, you've probably already seen the new royalty changes from KDP. And, what I'm here to tell you is that, listen, don't panic. When I first saw them, I was just like, oh my gosh, another blow. But, when life, as they say, when life has you lemons, you got to make lemonade with it. So what I'm planning to do again in this video is to just walk you guys through what I'm going to be doing to protect my income and to grow even more in 2025. And then also I do have a free checklist that you guys can download as well for those of you that are interested to go through some of these different action steps that I'm going to take if you're planning to, in case you're planning to want to make these different action steps and take these different action steps as well. But before we get into the things that I'm going to be doing, let's just briefly take a look at the price changes, what this is going to entail, and how this is going to impact all of us going forward. And then again, we'll get into the list of changes that I'm planning to make. So you probably have logged in if you are self-publishing through KDP and saw this notification that just says changes to royalty rates for print books and color printing costs starting June 10th, 2025. So it says starting June 10th, 2025, we are changing the royalty rate for books priced below certain list prices. For example, less than $9.99 USD from 60% to 50%. As a result, you'll have books earning zero royalties after this change. To avoid this, you can update the list price for your affected books. And it says separately, we are reducing color printing costs for paperbacks in some marketplaces, which is actually good. And this also says learn more about the royalty rate and printing cost changes. So if I click on that, it took me over here to this document, or not document, but this information here, which is very helpful. And this just basically shows you, the royalty rates that you need to set for the different marketplaces so that you're not affected by the 50% royalty rate cut if you are below the $9.99 threshold. So as you can see here, it has a full list of the royalty rates that you need to have for the different marketplaces so that you're not impacted. So as you can see, for Amazon.com, you need to have $9.99. For the European market, you need to have $9.99. I'm sorry, you need to have $9.99. For UK, you need to have $7.99. For Canada, $13.99, Australia, $13.99, Japan, 1,000 yen, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you guys should definitely check this out so that when you're going through and you're changing your prices for the different marketplaces for your books, you'll have this as a guide so that you know what the base price needs to be so that you aren't impacted by the 60% royalty rate cut. Okay, so again, this is very helpful, and you should have a link to this in your dashboard. Now we're going to go over to the KDP print cost calculator. Now this is something that I have been using for a long time. This is basically the cost calculator that you can use that is going to tell you, what your royalty rates are going to be for certain books, for basically any book that you're planning to publish based on the book type, the interior type, the number of pages, the marketplace, and so on and so forth. So guys, if you're not using this, where you been? This is really, really helpful. And this is something that you definitely want to use going forward. So how this works is just basically with this calculator, you're just going to come over, you're going to put in your book type, You're going to put in the interior type. You're going to put in the trim size, which is mostly in inches. You're going to put in, I'm sorry, not the trim size, but the trim size unit is going to be in inches. The trim size itself can vary, right? So usually you're going to have either probably an 8.5 by 11 or a 6 by 9, but you'll put that here. So I'll just put 8.5 by 11. You're going to choose the marketplace that you're going to be publishing the book to. The page count, we'll just do 100 as an example. And the list price, I'll just do $7.99, so we can see the differences in the royalty rates versus what's going to happen after the 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit. And so as you can see, for a book that is listed at $7.99 right now with a 60% royalty rate on KDP in the Amazon.com marketplace, the minimum list price is $4.73, printing cost $2.84, and the royalty that we're making is $1.95, which is not bad, okay? After the 10th, though, the minimum list price is going to be $5.68. The printing cost is going to be $2.84, which is going to stay the same, but the royalty is going to be $1.16. So that is a pretty drastic cut. So this is definitely what you want to use. And as you can see, it's going to show you this for all of the marketplaces, okay? All right? It's going to show you the printing cost and then what you'll stand to earn here. So this is something that you definitely want to familiarize yourself with, because this is going to help you determine, where you need to be pricing your books so that you can make a decent coin. So on the other hand, if the book were priced $9.99, which we know you'll still get that 60% royalty, right, after the 10th. So I'm going to use the same specifications for the book. List price $9.99. I'm going to click submit. Now, with these specifications for $9.99, 60%, $4.73 right now, $2.84. The royalty is $3.15. After the 10th, it's still going to be the same because we still are getting to 60% because the book is priced at $9.99, right, for the base price. So you have here $5.68 for the minimum list price. The printing cost is $2.84 and the royalty is $3.15. So that is a really great royalty for an 8.5 by 11 book that only has 100 pages and is priced at $9.99. I know you're probably thinking, who is going to pay for that? But trust me, if you position your books right, if you have a really unique spin on a book, a really unique cover, a really beautifully designed interior, people will pay. And I know this because I have books right now that are low content books, that are prompted journals, that are kind of keepsake books, which we're going to get into, that are selling for this and even more, and people don't have a problem paying for it. So it's not that it's just a low content book. It's about what type of low content book is it that you're trying to sell. A prompted journal that is positioned as a keepsake book is going to sell and can sell for $9.99 versus just a regular notebook. And even a notebook sometimes, depending on how it's positioned, can sell for $9.99. But I just wanted to show you guys the difference and why this is going to be so important. So suffice to say, you really want to be more strategic in your pricing, and you want to be more strategic with your publishing, which leads me to the things that I am going to be doing in preparation for these changes that are upcoming. So let's go ahead and get into the list of the actions that I'm going to be taking. All right. So number one is I'm going to go through and I'm going to definitely do an audit. I'm already doing that, and audit my current book catalog. So I'm sorting through all of the books. I'm looking at, how much I've earned. I'm looking at books that have great reviews. Excuse me. I'm looking at the quality of the books. And I'm looking to see which ones I can keep and which ones I can unpublish. Now, if there's a really low price book, which I do have some that are like $5.99 that have never sold, I'm automatically unpublishing those books and I'm archiving them because they're just wasting up space. They're taking up space. So I'm going to go ahead and unpublish those books. So for the ones that have sold, but maybe the price is a little lower, I am going to figure out, how I can maybe beef it up a little bit more to maybe change the cover design on the books and maybe change the interior up a little bit to charge a more premium price. Now, if you're not sure about how to do that, what I will tell you is to use ChatGPT. Run it through ChatGPT, tell it, this is the book that I currently have. These are the number of pages. What can I do to better position this book to earn me or to charge $9.99 and plus for this book? I know a lot of people don't like AI, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer and it really does help. And I look at it as my assistant when I'm a little stuck on certain things and I'm not really sure how to push forward. Okay. So you can definitely use that to figure out how you can reposition your book to be able to charge a premium price. All right. So number 2 is to focus on creating books that I can charge at least or make at least $3 plus in royalties from. So this is something that I have to give a shout out to Danny on Demand. He mentioned this last year, I think, in a video that I watched from him, where he kind of talked about, the strategy of charging more for the books that you publish. Because what's the point in, charging $1 or trying to make $1 and even less in a book that you're publishing? You spent all this time creating this book, creating the cover, the interior. So why not charge for, or why not create a book or a product that can fetch you a premium price? So that is what I am definitely going to be doing and what I've already been doing. Now, you may be wondering, what are some books that I can charge this much for? So some of these books are things like activity books, puzzle books, prompted journals, keepsake books, and even higher content books. Now, I know this is something that I have kind of been running away from, but to be honest, it is looking more attractive to me as I continue down this journey. So I'm thinking about maybe at some point getting into more of the higher content books, but I have to say right now, I really do enjoy more of the medium content books and the kind of lower content books and prompted journals and things of that nature, just because of the design aspect and some of the fun things that you can do with creating these books. It just really does help me creatively. So that is something that I would suggest as well. All right, so number 3 is going to be to raise your prices strategically. Don't undercut yourself, don't underprice yourself, and you definitely want to take a look at your book inventory and look at books that have a lot of value and raise those prices. Sometimes we start thinking that a customer is not going to be willing to pay for certain books or to pay a premium price, but I'm here to tell you that they will. So your ideal customers don't mind paying a premium price for a book that is done well, something that is giftable, something again that is in the keepsake kind of range. So just really, definitely go through and raise your prices strategically on the books that you have in your arsenal. All right, so number 4 is to build a book brand and not just publish random one-off books. So I talked about this in a previous video that is called Stop Publishing Random Books. And this is also something that I really focus my course From Publish to Profit on. And this is all about building out a book brand. The reason that you want to do this is, number 1, is you want to start thinking strategically and start thinking about how you can set your books up to get repeat buyers and not just the one-off purchases. And then also, when you build out a book brand, which is basically just multiple books under a pen name that you're selling as a set of related books versus just the one-off books, you can also increase your average order value. So that means, for example, if you started selling some kind of keepsake book, okay, and your royalty is $3 per book. Now, if somebody comes and they like the book and they see that you have other books that are related to that keepsake book that you're selling, instead of just making the $3, if somebody comes and buys 3 books from you, you can make $9 instead of just the 3. So this is why building out book brands and building books in a set to sell under pen names is important versus just the one-off books. And this is really powerful. So again, I talk about this way more in From Publish to Profit. And the thing that you want to do with this is you want to make sure that, of course, the books that you have in your book brands or that you're selling as even a little mini set is that all of the covers are cohesive, the titles are similar, and basically the person can tell that this is all coming from the same pen name. And again, this is really powerful stuff. This is the way that I've been able to take, books that I've created and actually take them from the one type of book that I've created and build off of them to create a little mini book brand around so that I can sell more and make more money instead of, again, just a one-off book. And this is just where you really start to become a more strategic publisher versus just a one-off publisher. So I challenge you guys this. Whenever you start creating your books, think about, how can I take the one book that I'm creating and expand this into multiple books to make more money. And if it's something that you need assistance with, I do have what's called a profitable niche planner or niche series planner that helps you kind of map that out. You can click the link below to learn more about it, as well as from Publish to Profit. But that is something that you definitely want to do going forward. And then number 5 is collecting emails from your buyers. So this is huge. One way that you can do this is really easy to do is to add a QR code into the back of your book or even in the front. Specifically though, the back is better, where you can just kind of drop a line and say, hey, if you want to get some freebies or some free activity pages or some free XYZs that you can do, scan this QR code to go and download these pages. That is an easy way to start building your email list. Now, for those of you that are interested in building out a book brand, maybe you want a website, you want to start collecting emails, I do have a website template that is available in my shop that does help you do this. It is created with Canva. It's really easy to set up, change colors, the whole 9 yards with the branding. So you can head over to check that out. But that is something that you definitely want to start doing as a more strategic publisher, because the whole idea of your book brands and collecting emails is to start building an ecosystem for yourself outside of Amazon, right? So that when these different changes start to happen, you still have your own people that you can communicate with, your own buyers that you can communicate with, your own little community that you can communicate with, and so on and so forth. So these are just some of the things that I am going to be doing, that I'm already doing right now with my book brands, but I'm going to continue to do going forward, and that I highly suggest you guys take a look into as well. So this pretty much wraps up this video though, guys. Again, forgive my voice, but I hope that you guys found this helpful, and I'd love for you to comment below to tell me, what action are you planning to take from this list, or what actions are you taking right now with your books with these new changes coming into play on June the 10th of this year. So I'd love for you to drop me a comment below. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to share this video with somebody you think that it will be helpful to. And again, if you want the checklist for the things that I mentioned, you can download that below. It's going to be a link to it. So I'll see you guys around. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk soon. Okay? Bye.